Fighting card!
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. This time I'll be showing you the changes and updates to my Shinobird Spirit Knightmare deck. It has been a long time since I sat down and worked with this deck, and that's mostly because the hits to the deck actually were far more devastating than I thought. I thought I could get by with one Scapegoat, but it turned out it relied on that token production. Add to it the additional normal summon that Goblin offered was necessary to keep the deck flowing into its monsters. But while it did take me a while, I was able to figure out a way to get the deck back up and running almost to the same power as the way it was before. Let's take a closer look. Starting with the monster lineup, we have a playset of Amano Iwado, or as I like to call him, Rock Salt. Every single one of the level 4 and lower spirit monsters that I run share a common trend in their effect. They cannot be special summoned, and during the end phase of the turn they were normal summoned or flip face up, they are returned to the hand. Now, Amano Iwado's unique effect is that while he's on the field, no monster effects can be activated except for those of spirit monsters. Next we have a playset of Aratama. Its unique effect is that when it's normal summoned or flip face up, I can add any spirit monster from my deck to my hand. Next we have a playset of Nikitama. During the turn it was successfully normal summoned, I get one additional normal summon of a spirit monster. And if it happens to go to the graveyard by any means from anywhere while I have a spirit monster on the field, I get to draw a card. Next we have a pair of Yamato no Kami. Now he can be special summoned from the hand by banishing a spirit monster out of the graveyard, and if he happens to destroy a monster in battle, he can also destroy a spell trap on the opponent's side of the field. And finishing up the monster lineup, we have a playset each of Shinobaron Peacock and Shinobaroness Peacock. Now they can both be ritual summoned with a spell called Shinobird's Calling, and at the end phase of the turn that they were successfully summoned, they return to the hand and leave behind 2 level 4 tokens in attack or defense mode, 1500 attack and defense each. But Shinobaron Peacock says that if it's successfully summoned, you can return up to 3 monsters your opponent controls to the hand without targeting, and if you returned minimum 1, you also get to special summon a level 4 or lower spirit monster from your hand, ignoring his summoning conditions. Shinobaroness is very similar, except she returns 3 spell traps on the opponent's side of the field without targeting to the deck, and if you returned minimum 1, you also get to special summon a spirit monster from your deck, level 4 or lower, ignoring its summoning conditions. Next up we have the spell cards. Starting off we have a playset of Called by the Grave, and a playset of the newest spell card that I just added, Fires of Doomsday. It's very similar to Scapegoat in a lot of ways. You special summon 2 Doomsday tokens, which are level 1 darks with 0 attack and 0 defense in defense position, but they cannot be tributed for a tribute summon unless it is a dark monster, whereas Scapegoat tokens cannot be tributed in any way, shape, or form. And also, just like Scapegoat, you cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, though you can set them face down if you want. A playset of Pre-Preparation of Rites. This allows me to add any ritual spell from your deck to your hand and then add a ritual monster whose name is listed on it from your deck or graveyard to your hand. 1 copy of Raigeki, 1 copy of Scapegoat, a playset of the ritual spell Shinobird's Calling. It's used to ritual summon the Shinobaron and Shinobaroness, but it has the added effect of being able to banish spirit monsters out of your graveyard for the ritual cost. A playset of Trade-In, discard a level 8 monster, draw 2 cards, and a pair of Twin Twisters because I need to get rid of that Nikitama out of my hand as often as possible to get more draws. Now for the draft card lineup, I've narrowed it down to a very small number. A playset of Renewal of the World. It allows you to banish any ritual monster out of your deck, then during a separate turn from the one you activated it, you can either add that ritual monster to your hand, or ritual summon it by tributing a single monster from your hand or field, or shuffling a ritual monster from your graveyard into the deck whose level is the same or higher than the ritual monster you're attempting to ritual summon off this card. Being able to ritual summon Shinobaroness or Shinobaron during your opponent's turn is frankly hilarious, and being able to do so without a ritual spell makes it even better. And I also have my standardized copy of Solemn Warning. Next we move into the side deck. First off, I've removed the playset of Shared Ride for a playset of Dark Ruler No More. It negates the effects of all face-up monsters the opponent controls until the end of the turn, and for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage, but they cannot respond to this card's activation with monster effects. A playset of Herald of the Abyss, a playset of Solemn Johnson, a playset of Solemn Strike, and a playset of my Floodgate of Choice, There Can Be Only One, which limits each player to only controlling 1 monster of each monster type. And finally, we finish up with the extra deck. First off, I have a few Xyz monsters, including number 39 Utopia, who can detach to negate an attack. Utopia Prime, sorry, no Utopia Double right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I can make that work in this deck, but I can stack him on top of Utopia, and if the difference between our life points is 3,000 or more, I can triple detach, destroy and banish all special summon monsters the opponent controls, and deal the opponent 300 damage for each one. And Utopia the Lightning, who can be stacked on top of Utopia Prime, but when it attacks, the opponent can't activate any cards or effects, and during the damage step, I can double detach, as long as there's a Utopia attached to it, and double his attack points to 5,000 until the end of the damage step. Now the rest of the cards are Link monsters, but it's fairly diverse in here. First off is a pair of Link Spiders, which I mainly just use for the Link arrow pointing down, and it can be summoned by using a single normal monster. The other one, however, is a Link Kuriboh. Same reason as Link Spider, but its effect is actually used. If the opponent's attacking me, I contribute him to reduce the opponent's monster's attack down to 0 until the end of the turn. And he also has the ability to be resummoned by tributing a level 1 monster, though I don't really need to use this very much. What isn't just used for the arrow though is Salamangreat Almirage. Took me a while to get my hands on this, but I'm really glad I did. It can be summoned by using a single normal summon monster with 1,000 or less attack, which means Aratama and Nigitama are prime material for this. And as a quick effect, I can tribute him, target a monster I control, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects for the rest of the turn. But when a normal summon monster I control is destroyed by battle, while this is in the graveyard, he can resummon himself from the grave. Moving into the Link 2s, we have a single copy of Ib, the World Chalice Priestess. I mainly use it because it requires 2 monsters with different types and attributes, and there's plenty to pick from. But it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects if it's linked. The opponent cannot target it with card effects if it's linked. If a monster it points to will be destroyed by a card effect, I can send it to the grave instead. Next we have 2 Knightmare Cerberus. When Link summoned, I can discard a card, target a special summon monster in the opponent's main monster zones, destroy it, and if it's co-linked when that happens, I get to draw a card. Also, while it's co-linked, my co-linked monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. A pair of Knightmare Phoenix. If it's Link summoned, I can discard a card, target a spell trap on the opponent's field, destroy it, and if it was co-linked when this happened, I get to draw a card. Also, while it's co-linked, monsters I control that are co-linked cannot be destroyed by battle. A single copy of Proxy Dragon. It can be summoned using 2 monsters of any variety, but if a card I control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, I can destroy one of my monsters this card points to instead. Moving into the Link 3, we have a Knightmare Unicorn. When Link summoned, I can discard to target a card on the field, send it back to the deck, and if it was co-linked when this happened, I get to draw a card. For every Knightmare monster that I have that is co-linked, I get to draw 1 card for each with a different name during my draw phase instead of just a single card. Now the last one I rarely ever summon unless the circumstances are absolutely perfect, but I do run 1 copy of Knightmare Griffin. If it's Link summoned, I can discard a card, target a spell or trap in my graveyard, set it to my field, but I cannot activate it in the same turn. And if it was co-linked when this happened, I get to draw a card after. And while he's on the field, special summon monsters cannot activate their effects unless they are linked to something. And that is the deck. I'll be honest, I miss playing Knightmare Goblin in this deck. He was a great bridge monster, and at the same time that additional normal summon that it offered was amazing. Still, with these other cards that I've substituted in, I have been able to make the deck function almost identically to the way it used to. And I can't lie, being able to play this deck again with this kind of power is incredibly fun and nostalgic for me. I thank you guys for watching the deck profile. If you can think of any ways that I can improve this All-Spirit deck, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out.